People's Democratic Party in Imo State has condemned recent attacks by unidentified gunmen at the Isiala Mbano local government area council headquarters, where security guards were killed, and at the Obowo local government area divisional police headquarters, where a policeman was also killed. In a statement by PDP State Publicity Secretary Lancelot Obiako, the party expressed sorrow over the violence and criticized the APC-led government under Governor Hope Uzodinma for failing to address the ongoing security crisis. Obiako also accused the governor of inaction, claiming that the state has become a place of violence and bloodshed due to the administration's lack of proactive measures. Ugochukwu, what is your take on this story?
This is sad. This is unacceptable. Imo State, that hitherto pride herself as the most peaceful state in Nigeria, the home of hospitality. You know, when this slogan and acronym in Nigerian plate number and statehoodness came, you know, what a state is known for. Imo was tagged the home of all, you know, or is it the home for all? So, fast forward to after the Achikudenwa, the tenure of Charles Ugu that was short-lived, the tenure of Hakim that was also short-lived, that Imo State had a kind of green revolution.
It wasn't short-lived. He served out 4 years.
He served out 4 years. But in Nigeria, you know, the way they say 4 plus 4, and when you don't serve that 8 years max, they feel that the government of the said governor or president is short-lived.
All right.
So that's our thinking. But not everybody will get even the opportunity of serving as a governor for 1 day, because so many people clamored for it, dreamt about it, but it was not never actualized. So when you have the opportunity of serving, you should count yourself very lucky and favored amongst all. No, but this greedy quest among our politicians is what makes them think that you must serve 8 years. So when you now fast forward to Rochas Okorocha, around Hakim, we had the revolution and the Imo State were heading to somewhere. You know, the cleanliness for which Imo State was known came back. The fast forward to all the intra-plays and the political shenanigans that outstayed Hakim, and Rochas Okorocha came on board. I only remember Hakim's administration for one elephant project he envisaged, the Imo, is it something like one Imo Port or Wonder Lake? Imo Wonder Lake that he wanted to build at Uguta Lake. There was monies earmarked for it. He went to borrow. That was the first time I heard of this bond. He borrowed a lot of money, and Laurentia, I was there. I was a secondary school student. This activity did not start today. I went to that particular place. I ferried in a boat. I went there. One of my uncle was an Anglican priest, so I went on holiday to see him. He took me to the place. I said, I want to go and see that Imo Wonder Lake or whatever they call it, near Imo Hotels, which was built by Sam Mbakwe. We went there and we can only see one tiny house that is like a penthouse and few drops of sands that were positioned. But the bond was contracted, and the monies and the whole paper signed with a South African consortium. I mean Hakim. So it was one of the things that pissed me off about Hakim's administration. He never realized it. He was never, you know, sincere about getting that job done. Then came Rochas Okorocha, who tried in developing Imo despite his shortfalls in awarding of contracts. Then Hakim, after Ihedioha, Imo was happy to have returned to the days of Achikudema. Imo was heading somewhere, the rebuilding of Imo. Because if things were not bad, that mantra of rebuilding Imo would have not come in. You saw the lot of, how do you call it, inferior construction of roads that Rochas did. The awarding of contracts even to people of his family, the familiocracy kind of government we saw during Rochas Okorocha's administration, and cumulating into the formation of the Ministry of Happiness. So then came the road that he built from Olo to Akokwa, crisscrossing his home of Oboko. Is impassable. Is even the ecological damage. The ecological damage came worse than what we saw before even the road was given as contract. That Rochas Okorocha, as a governor of Imo State, in their prerogative of 8 years, cannot go to his hometown as of today. Rochas Okorocha can only visit his home, his country home, after all the building of, magnificent edifice that he did. The 5-star hotel he positioned en route into his hometown, the Imo Prince and Princess Hotel, the Imo State, the European University, and whatever that is situated within the purview of his hometown, he cannot be accessed from Olo to that place. Because when they want to cheat us, they don't know that one day they'll be cheating themselves. Rochas Okorocha could not make that as his signature project, as we have seen what Nyesom Wike and David Umahi did in River State and in Ebo State, respectively. And what Donald Duke and Anakpabio did in revolutionizing Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State, respectively. You could see that a project that would have announced to him for generations to come, as we are still mentioning the roads that were built by Samon Bakwe in Imo State till today. Rochas Okorocha failed after demolishing people's houses that he was constructing road. And that road today, the whole ecological fund, the whole monies he borrowed to have achieved that, the even concession of Imo palm plantation to himself, the concession of Imo hotels, what do you call it, Imo Concord Hotel, to turning it to his private business, was not okay for him. He awarded a contract that cannot be awarded to any rural road, for a road that has an ecological problem. At the end of the day, Laurentia, that road is worse off than it is. That anybody who wants to go to that place will crisscross through Enugu State. And Rochas Okorocha can visit his hometown only if he uses chopper. So at the end of the day, that is where we are. And the one that Uzodimma would have cleaned the tears of Imo people from the backyard he entered the governorship seat. Remember that throughout his 4-year tenure, he was termed the Supreme Court governor. Imo people were disenchanted, disinterested, and decided not to follow him and said, let him and his APC do whatever they want with Imo State, as we say in the Catholic Church, that the Lord do with me whatever thou wilt, as Jesus Christ said on the cross. And he could not build on what he had left, because at least there was return of peace. There was a heave of a sign of relief on the faces of the Imolites. The administration of Uzodimma came and brought about the continuation of impoverishing the Imo people and turning the place to a bloodbath, a killing field. And the federal government and those who call themselves opposition in Imo State now are saying nothing. Nobody is talking. Nobody seems to care what the people of Imo State are passing through. Nobody seems to care how people are killed and maimed. that a whole village, a whole community is being ravaged. Many people have not visited their homes in 4 years, in 5 years. No activity is going on, like marriages and burials that people had to bribe people and pay money to unknown gunmen and Moma and the ESN for a burial to be conducted. Villages have been sacked, localities have been sacked. Nobody seems to care what is happening in Imo State. And the tale of killing and sadness and tears has continued unabated. Even as the governor has secured his second tenure and mandate as enshrined in his own agenda, aided by the political structure in Nigeria. He has come back and he don't want to redeem himself. This Obowo killing is not today. It has happened before, Laurentia, if you recall. A few years ago, there was a killing in Obowo. I think during the Rochas Okorocha administration. There was killing in also the second place that has happened, though this is not a new thing. And those who are playing opposition, what beats my imagination is how PDP has disappointed the Imolites, because Imo State has been a PDP state since 1999, even as I speak with you today. Well, because Rochas Okorocha will not, Uzodinma will not tell you that he is there in the mandate of Imolites. I can tell you that for free.
And that's why you said he entered through the back door.
He entered through the back door. Even his second tenure was also legitimized through the same vein, because nobody was there to vote. Nobody was there. There are something people will see before they come out to vote. This voting, conscientizing people is because of what people see on ground, that we elicit them to go and vote. And what has happened? The oppositions, I'm calling out the oppositions in Imo State, the likes of Anyang, the likes of Samdadi, okay, he's the Samdadi, the likes of Ugochinyere Ikenga, who has made it his own, the extension of his constituency to come to River State and they talk about what is happening in River State, why his state is on fire. And before his election, what even baffles me about the character of the person of Ugochinyere is that before the elections, general elections of 2023, he suffered losses. If not for the sheer grace, I don't know what would have happened, because the opposers of the mass group has waited for him at the appeal court to dash his hope of returning to the... he lost the tribunal. He lost in the other leg of it, and it is whatever magic that happened or sheer grace that made him, because you could recall that the same fate befell on so many Labour Party candidates. They lost at appeal, which is their final arbiter when it comes to House of Representatives. Those in the PDP members in Plateau State has counted their losses. That's why they filed the idea, because of the kind of politics we play in Nigeria. But the appeal court has sacked all of them, the House of Assembly members in Plateau State, true or false. So Ugochi, having scaled through and came out victorious, would have repositioned himself and brought that his activism to bear in rescuing the Imolites, being that lone voice that is crying in the wilderness. And going by what he suffered, he lost his uncle, his properties were tampered with, his house was burnt, his people were, even the people that stood against him, was not in Imo State when the election was conducted. But people stick out his neck, thinking that the savior has arrived. Just like when the person of Uche Obowo entered the Imo State House Assembly. He saw what politics looks like in Nigeria. It's not a comedy. He saw the reality is done on him. He was the SA to the governor. From SA to the governor, he could not even make any input, which he came out to resign and said that, oh, is that how this thing is done? You call me an SA, I cannot even give an advice. That's in Nigerian politics. The next time is that he vied and got his slot to represent his constituents in the Imo State House Assembly. What happened? He saw the real politics in Imo State. He was among those whom were chastised by the Rochas Okorocha-led administration in his second tenure. He saw the realities. And Ugochi, who God has delivered from the hands of the Pharaoh, and he has gotten that mandate, would have brought his activism, what he's doing in River State, what I expected him from when the elections were conducted and Imo State PDP were given a paltry 50,000 votes. Nobody had his voice. When they were going through the tribunal and the second leg of the appeal and cumulating into the Supreme Court, nobody had Ugochi speak about the injustices and the killings that is happening in Imo State. And he was the person I have expected to hold Governor Uzodimma accountable and hold him to ransom and make his government sit on his toes, and even through activism make his government his governance ungovernable. By the kind of heat that he leveraged on his friendship with the media and being a vocal voice in the Nigerian political space, he has been the CUPP chairman. You saw what the role he played when he was the CUPP chairman that brought him to limelight. And he disappeared. And his problem is Nyesom Wike. His problem is how to suspend Nyesom Wike while his people are being massacred. This particular story we are talking about, has Ugochi come out to condemn it? Has Chris Anyanwu come out to condemn it? Has any voice been raised in Imo State? You're talking about PDP. The PDP is where Ugochi is a member. This press release now is signed by who? Since the Oyedo has left PDP, PDP is already a standing tree without a taproot. Because I can stay here and tell you the caliber of people that Oyedo have pulled out from PDP. I never knew he had that kind of clout. Then Ugochi, for him to salvage whatever has remained of PDP, he's fighting Nyesom Wike, he's fighting Chris Anyanwu, that is the flag bearer of PDP in the day, who is the most politically senior member of PDP, positioned to champion the cause of PDP and reposition it for the next election. But what, instead of pulling together with him, what is Ugochi doing? He's every day fighting him. His strong base now is River State. I hope that the constituency of Semilaye Fobara comes to vote him in 2027 general election. Yes, that will be helping his constituents, because he had left the constituent, the people that stood by him, the people that were killed, the people that were muzzled out by the Uzodimma-led administration, making sure that, because Uzodimma would have not even put the energy he put in trying to stop Ugochi if he knew that Ugochi will be so cowed. Do you know the fear of Uzodimma? Among all the people that came out to vie for elections, Ugochi received the most uncomfortable, and his terrain was made so hot for him that he could not even campaign. I can tell you that for free. And at the end of the day, Uzodimma will be sitting there and say, why would I after all have put in this kind of energy?
Have you thought that probably one of the reasons Ugochi has not been proactive in his constituency or in Imo State, it could be the life-threatening situation, which he experienced prior to his election into the House of Representatives.
Are you giving him a defense mechanism?
No, I am laying.
But what I'm saying, yes, from what perspective? But who Ugochi do not need to go to Imo State in order to keep the administration of Uzodimma on their toes. The media space is there. Where did he gain his prominence, if I may ask? He gained his prominence through the media. You have seen he has entered the House of Reps and formed the G60. That G60 is a platform, whether they are existing at the realm of the spirit, because I've not seen their members. They are existing at the realm of the spirit and in the mind of Ugochi. So Ugochi would have leveraged on that and be calling press statement, but you see that he calls press statement in any little thing that happens in Rivers State. So is it not the same way that he should keep the governor on his toes and make sure that sanity and the people of Imo State had the voice that even if nothing is being done by the federal government, at least the world will know that there is somebody speaking for the Imolites. The problem and the doom that has befallen Imo people now is that nobody is speaking for them, Laurentia. Nobody is speaking for the people that are being killed, that are being massacred. That, do you know that at the end of the tenure of Obowo Odemma, there will be a fund that will, a commission will be set up for the rebuilding of Imo State. Do you know that? Because a lot of villages have been sacked. Olu zone have suffered tremendously. Right. And people have lost their means of livelihood. Right. People are squatting in their own hand. And another thing is that why can't Ugochi call for an IDP camp to be set up in Imo State? Because with what is going on in Imo State, IDP camps should have been set so that the federal government attention will be drawn. And the international community is only Rivers State that Ugochi calls the international community attention. All right. And the people, his people are being killed and maimed. How many people have died because of the political crisis in Rivers State? I'm calling out to Ugochi that if he's hearing me, I dare him to come either on Zoom on a challenge with me on any platform that he wants. Let us talk about Imo State, and I will ask him questions, critical questions that he will not have an answer to give him, because the people gave him this leverage by welcoming him in the media space. All right, fine. And also I call on the media to hold him accountable. The media in Nigeria, the journalists in Nigeria should ask Ugochi what he is doing, what is his input, and about the death and all the things that are happening in Imo State. Apparently your grouse now is not with the opposition party, but your grouse is with an individual. No, he has positioned himself as the opposition. He is even the PDP national opposition. That's the problem. He is an opposition and he has made himself a vocal voice. Because our people have a saying that the more you look, the more you peep, the more your head comes out. All the other people that has gone quiet, in the traditional nature of Nigerian politicians, after 4 years, you see them coming back from US and wherever and contest election. So he himself that has made that his head has come out, I'm now pulling his legs out, 2 legs, for him to come and let him demolize, ask him question, and the media should help me in doing that. All right.